It's not been 6 months, but I'm treating you to another video. I didn't want to get like into a groove of not like making more content, but I don't have a channel with that in mind. I mean, it's like anybody, it's just like a pickups hobby, talking about things type YouTube channel thingy majiggy. But basically, yeah, anyway, I've got some pickups. I got some decent pickups over the last 2 weeks, actually car boot related mainly. This is late. I'm really tired, but I thought I really wanted to film this video. I had a hankering for it, but I've been too busy glued to my TV watching a program called Justified. And if anybody's ever seen it, Timothy Oliphant. My mate recommended it to me. It was actually Time Warp James. He recommended it to me, and it was already on my list. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to watch it. So I waxed all of the original seasons from like 2010 to 2015, and they've released a brand new season this year. So I've been watching that, and it's just one more episode. Just do it after this episode. And it's not happening. Anyway, I don't really want to dwell too much because there is a bag full of stuff that I've got for one particular pickup. And I don't want it to be like as long as my last video. That was 6 months worth of stuff, granted, but this here is 2 weeks, and it's like if I'm not careful, I'm just going to talk on, and it's just going to take fucking ages. So the first thing we'll do gaming related, which is Max noticed this at a car boot. He was actually looking at Hot Wheels toys. The guys mainly had Hot Wheels stuff, and this was a random thing. He had like key rings and little figurines of whatever bullshit, and then he just had this, and I was like, I even reckon I saw the colour and I thought that really reminds me of like a Game Boy, and it actually is, and it actually has the Game Boy colour logo on there as well. It has Magneton and Magnemite, whichever fucking thing it is, and it's a Burger King toy from 2000, and the thing's actually removable as well. Meant to be a game. Like, yeah, that's well cool. So it cost me £1. Max reckons that he's having it, but I've got the money. Well, I had the money, sorry, and I've got Game Room, so basically. And I also have the original Game Boy that matches it. So yeah, you know, like soz, but I trump you, bebs. We'll move on to. I've got a couple of books, bookie books. So basically, I went to this one. The weekend just gone. What do you want? Would you, Lucy? What? I went to this. Got loads of books all over, like all different types, like as in like novels and like Jackie Collins, all that sort of shit. And then they randomly had Jen the Hen. They had like 4 children's books. It's like, oh, Jen the Hen Man. I'm gonna get Jen the fucking Hen Man. So Jen the Hen, The Bad-Tempered Ladybird, and a random book called The Prometheus Project. It's got a symbol on this, I think it says that it's a canister or some sort of a canister at the bottom. It says it's an N word. I'm not going to say the word because I might get struck off from I mean the symbol, by the way. But basically, yes, it's a science steel canister. For almost 50 years, it's laid dormant. I'm not going to read the whole blurb. But basically, I was like, oh, this sounds quite interesting, actually. So 3 books, and they were like, oh, give us 50p. I was like, booyah. Especially because I looked on eBay, and this, I saw like 3 listings for it, and it's not cheap. I mean, it's not expensive. It's not like you know, like a £50 book. But I was like, oh, I'm quite glad I picked it up, actually. But it says from the author of Black Death, and I like finding unusual books, like unusual old books, especially if the front cover is really cool. Now, you should never judge a book by its cover, but I ain't gonna lie, if the cover's cool and it's actually had some effort put into it, then I'm gonna get it. What else I've got? Last weekend, I suppose it doesn't really matter what weekend. Well, there's 2 pickups where it does, because the 2 main pickups of this video were bought on different weekends. But basically, last weekend I got The Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 and Part 5, and it says it's a novel based on the screenplays. So, and quite often when that happens, is that they will have like different endings and stuff like that. I know that obviously books are different, but that's what people do. They'll say, oh, I read the book on the screenplay, but then they'll change the screenplay obviously as they're filming and stuff. So it's like quite a cool thing to have. Now I'm part of groups as well on Facebook where they love this sort of stuff, and I'm like thinking, oh, I've got that book, or yeah, I've seen that book before, something like that. Now this cost me 50p. The guy had loads of really cool stuff, mainly horror themed stuff like VHSs, DVDs, Blu-rays, figures. Nothing that like when you looked at it, it was like, oh my god, everything's amazing. But he basically just kind of like picked stuff off his shelf and I don't really want that anymore, sort of thing. And this was just a random book that he had for 50p, and it's worth a lot more than 50p, I can tell you that. I got 2 Blu-rays. This was not eBay. Sorry, not eBay. This was not a car boot. It was Police Story 1 and 2. This was from Facebook, and it cost me like £12, and that includes the postage. I've never seen Police Story, but I've seen scenes from them, like on YouTube Shorts and Instagram and shit like that. And people like rave about it. And I do like older Jackie Chan films, but I've not seen the majority of them, so I wanted to try to get in. Wanted to try and get into them. So Jackie Chan, Police Story 1 and 2. Logan cost me 50p from the car boot. Got a slipcase. I do have Disney, and it is on there obviously and everything. Or is it on Netflix? One of the two. But I do like to actually physically own films that I actually like, as I mentioned before. So I'm not going to go into all that bullshit. But basically, yes, that's what I got. I got another book, not from a car boot, but this is Graham Humphrey's Hung, Drawn and Executed. Now this is the geezer. I've got 3 VHSs right here, what he designed the front covers for. He designed the poster for Nightmare on Elm Street. He designed the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. And he also designed the Evil Dead. Many things he did for the Evil Dead, lots of art for the Evil Dead. Now he did original art and stuff like that for these films when they first came out, but he's also done stuff for like re-releases, so like the Army of Darkness and Hellraiser and just like all sorts of bits and pieces. And he's been like commissioned. He's a well nice guy. I've met him before and I've actually got a print of his signed by him, but he's not one of those people where he's like charges you to take a photo, charges you to sign stuff. Like he's proper genuine guy. But he's actually going to be in Alfreton or Alfreton, however you say it, next month in October. So I'm going to be going to meet him again and getting a book signed by him, a new book. It's one of the only days. I'm always really pissed off because like with it, like conventions and expos and stuff like that, I'm always busy, and it's usually something I can't get out of. And at the minute, there's nothing else going on, so I'm going because it's like 40 minutes away. That's it. So Hung, Drawn and Quartered, Executed, cost me about £13, and he's gonna have his new book there, so I'm gonna get his new book from him. I also got a pencil case. I've got this pencil case already, but it cost me £1 from British Art Foundation, and it's an original vintage. Vintage? You say vintage? It's from the 90s anyway. There we go. So pencil case. From the car boot, I also got. Now I've got some stuff from this. He was quite an older guy. He was like definitely in his very late 60s, early 70s at least. And he had some of these. Now these are tape cassette holders, and the reason why I bought them, well, I say bought them. I bought one. Is because, and I've got this handy dandy thing ready already, is that it fits loose Mega Drive carts in there. Now I've only got like 12 Mega Drive carts, doesn't fit that way. So it's really cool because then I saw it on a video ages ago where somebody had one on their wall and it looked really nice, but ever since then I've tried to look for them, and they're quite expensive, but I was like, to be fair, I don't have that many and I don't really plan to collect for loose Mega Drive carts. SNES, yes, is a bit more acceptable, but not Mega Drive. I think it's a bit weird. I feel a bit weird doing that. But I actually picked up this one originally, and it's all just one just like a tower basically. But this one is like goes both directions, but it only fits in one way. And when I picked it up and when I had it off him, he said, "Oh, I'll take another one." He had like 6 of them, and I was like, "Okay." And he was selling his stuff off cheap. Like he's like, "I just want to get rid of it. Just want to get rid." So all right, cool. Now I'm down to the last 2 things. Yes, I am. I'm just making sure. Yeah, the last 2 things. So I'll whiz through them as quickly as possible, and you'll see why I'm saying that in a minute. Because this one here, who recognises this box? When I say this box, I mean this style of box with a lock on the front. Now you probably noticed all the blue discs there. I'm going to say discs, I mean floppy discs. I fucking did. As soon as I saw this, I was like, but has that got floppy disk games in though? And yes, it did. I had a conversation with the guy, and as I was looking through them, he was reminiscing about the stuff on his stall. Nothing else gaming related, only this. Now, I'll whiz through the games very quickly. There's about 20 of them. Very careful. So, I've checked them all already. Some of the discs are missing, like where it says like disc, like it will say like disc 2, but then I haven't got like disc 1, for example. But yeah, I'll just say what it is without saying like disc 1, disc 2. So we've got Turbo Outrun, Striker, Nebulous, Time Machine, Sword of Honor, Silly Putty, Wacky Races, The Crystal, spelled with a K, Smash TV, Yours with issue 41 of Amiga Power. It's got like different shit on there. Back to the Future Part 2, Amiga Workbench 1.3, Strider, Macworld May 1995, Wolfenstein 3D, Syndicate New Mission, Clax, Polaroid 90 Single Ship Taster, Cyberball, Jet Strike, Cult with a K, Manchester United, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Lemmings, Pinball Fantasies, and Nightbreed. So all of those games, all original, no copies, all legit. And I was like, oh, okay then, mate. So, I mean, like, how much are you thinking for the lot? And he was like, £2? Would that be all right? So the fact that he said £2, I was automatically like, yeah. And then he asked me if it was okay. I was like, if you're okay with that. And he was like, yeah. He goes, I'm not bothered, mate. He goes, I've kept like 3 games from my childhood, and that's all I'm bothered about. He said he was 44, 45, because I asked him, I says, oh, I assume that we're about the same age. And he went, oh, I'm 45. I was like, oh, 44, I can't remember what he said. I was like, oh, okay, then maybe not, because I'm like in my 30s still, so alright. But yeah, he said £2, so I was like, alright then. The only game that I remember that he said he kept was Xenon, but again, he showed it me like that, and there was no like case or anything, like none of them had cases, sadly. £2 fucking, I ain't gonna grumble at that. Now this is a bag full of the last pickup that I've got. Again, I'll zip through it. Now this was really interesting because that was 2 weeks ago, technically 2 weekends ago, and the last weekend that I've just been through, it was within 5 minutes of arriving. It was 7:15 in the morning, the A47 car boot, and there was a box, and there was a few plugs and like cables and things in front of the box, like on a rug, and there was 2 of these, and it's the Commodore 64 Power Pack. And I was like, ooh, I immediately recognised it because I had a Commodore 64 when I was a kid. I had the keyboard, the disk drive, and the, do you call it like a tape deck? Whatever, the tape reader, I don't fucking know. But yeah, basically I was like, oh. And then I says, oh, do you have anything else? And he's like, no mate, just what's in that box. I was like, okay. So I was rooting through it, but there was another guy there as well, and I was a bit like, oh, because I was trying to grab my stuff, what I wanted, and he was picking stuff up, but then he just dropped it back in. He was older than me. He was at least in his like late 40s, early 50s, and I thought, oh, he's walked away now. That's great. So then there was too much stuff. I was too overwhelmed, and I thought I don't really know what to get and what to pick up. So I was just like, can I make an offer on all of it? It was like, yeah. How much are you thinking? I was like, well, what do you think? And he was like, make me an offer. I was like, fuck's sake. I was like, £5? Like £5? Thinking I'd get like a steal of a deal from like last week with a £2, and he was like, can't do £5. He goes, oh, and also you've got that plug in there. I was like, I didn't make it a secret. The plug was right on top, and I said, yeah. He goes, oh, I'd do it for £8. I was like, all right then. So this whole lot was £8. I've done it the other way around. I showed you that first, and then told you it was £2, and then this one was all £8. So no, we won't do the bag first because there's stuff that's not even in the bag. Right, so the stuff that's in boxes is the game and it's the manual. I'm not going to say it for every single one. It just is what it is, okay? So Sinclair ZX Spectrum Make a Chip, a Q&A book, Amiga Computing, Mini Office 2 for the Commodore 64, Go Micro, voted Business Program of the Year 1985, and then in capital letters, italic and underlined, and 1986, 1985 and 1986. The Go Micro, it says 99p on a sticker there. For the Commodore 64, Family Computing Pack, the Animator, Sinclair and Macmillan ZX Spectrum Science Horizons Survival, Instant Recall, and Personal Computing on the VIC-20. So I was like, oh, when I saw that, it's like, oh, what? That's what I had. So yeah, I'm not gonna get stuck to it. I'm gonna start fucking reading it. So that's all like that other stuff that wouldn't really. Oh no, it's not. I can tell a lie. They've got some more fucking shit over here. So I've got 3 of these Paddington Bear ones. So Collins Software, Paddington's Early Visit, Paddington's Picture Problem, or Problem Picture, sorry, and Paddington's Shopping Mix-Up. Poor Paddington, man. Right, now onto the bag. So again, I'll do the bag as quickly as possible. So we've got, I had literally like 3 of these in this whole bag. BBC Model B Galactic Commander, Footballer of the Year, the Amstrad CPC Melbourne Draw. I remember the drawing program. The Double. Now some of them do have cases but with no art, and some of them have no cases, and some of them have cases with art. So obviously I'll show you. I couldn't find anything of this on eBay, so I don't really know anything about this game. It's one of the only games I couldn't find. Amstrad Ocean's Greatest Hits, which has Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Street Hawk, Knight Rider and Nomad. The Hit Squad version of Renegade. Run the Gauntlet, just a normal Ocean version. League Challenge. Now one of the football games that I've got is worth quite a lot of money, apparently. I use the word apparently, I stress the word apparently, because I found 2 listings the other day. One was like £99 and something pence, and the other one was like £149. But then there were sold listings for like £4. I was like, So I don't like to, again, I'm not in it to like I've not bought this intentionally to flip it in that respect, but I couldn't leave it behind. But it isn't something that I'll be collecting for. Now I wanted to go through it anyway because I wanted to see if there's games that I wanted from it. Like I've got Dizzy Egg Games and Chucky Egg, Wonder Boy, Vixen, and they're all games I had. So I have like a major like nostalgic connection to them. Trivial Pursuit, not for resale apparently. Time Man 1, which sounds like a banging game, but I think it just it just says telling the time and setting the clock. Okie dokie. Pro Ski Simulator, Football Manager, Checkered Flag, the Crash Sampler, Now, it was somebody's video that I watched recently that I didn't know this was a magazine. I think it was either David plays retro games badly, or it was James, retro and import gamer. Can't remember which. It might not even been those guys, but somebody mentioned the crash, and I think they'd been sent the magazines from somebody. I can't remember who it was. The Hit Squad version of Predator, Space Crusade, so like you know, like Games Workshop, like Warhammer stuff. Again, all complete in that. Club Football says a $2.99 Martin McCall sticker on there. Martin McCall, I assume, is a shop. Gauntlet, the Kicks version. Amstrad Action Pack from June 1991. Imagine, the name of the game movie, 1984. Xanagrams. Easy Amsword computer word processor. River Rescue. Outrun. Laser Squad. 1985. The Galactic Plague. You getting bored of this music yet? Because I fucking am. The Welcome to Amsoft user demonstration. Star Trader. This has got loads of writing all over it. What the fuck? So we've got Match of the Day, Famous Five, Ant Attack, Block Dizzy, Signal Part 3, Samtris, and Pokerama. Fucking hell. The Hit Squad version of Run the Gauntlet, Fruit Machine, Formula 1 Simulator. Still got more shit in here. A collector's pack, odd numbers version. That's all it says. I don't know what that is. Not in 3D. KNOT, not in 3D. The 747 Flight Simulator, which uses 2 joysticks apparently. 1982. Fruit Machine. I had this. So I was like, because I actually saw this, I was like, oh, it's going to be such cool games now. Literally, there's like, out of this whole fucking thing, I had 2 games. Spectrum Computing, number 10. Batman the Caped Crusader. North Star. BBC Model B, Bumblebee. I don't know what this is, but it says side A, load VU file, VU, and then file, and side B, load gazetteer. No idea. Passing Shot. Corridors of Genon in 3D. In 3D! Okay, no, I doubt it. Laser Squad. So it says number 6, the Star Driver, number 7, Laser Platoon. I presume that there's more tapes for that. Kane with a K, K-A-N-E. And another Trivial Pursuit. You can't have too many Trivial Pursuits, you know. Not for resale. Not for resale. And that's it. That's all I got. So I thought it was pretty banging to get that one week and to get the Amiga discs the other week. I don't know if I mentioned Amiga. It's Amiga, by the way. So yeah, there we go. So all that cost me £8. £8. And I've got my own little shelf. It's got a joystick and all that sort of stuff on there, all my tapes and stuff like that. I'm proper happy with it. I'm going to be able to salvage 1 tape out of here that I have an actual connection to, because that is only for things that I actually liked and played, etc, etc. So there we go. But I'm still really happy with my shit. I don't know how long this video is, so I'm gonna go to bed. So good night.